Welcome to your deep dive, listener. You sent us some seriously fascinating stuff for today's deep dive. We're talking mind simulation, artificial intelligence, all that good stuff, thanks to these excerpts you dug up.
Yeah, these excerpts get right into it. They really make you think about what's possible, like right around the corner. And not just technologically, but like what it all means, you know?
Exactly. It's heavy stuff. So to get us started, we got to talk about this thought experiment the excerpts use. It's called the ship of Theseus. You know, Odysseus and his ship.
Oh yeah, classic.
So picture this. His ship needs repairs, obviously.
Sure.
After a while, every plank, every sail, every single piece gets replaced. So is it even the same ship anymore?
Okay, I see where you're going with this. The excerpts connect that directly to the human brain.
Right. Exactly. Neuroscience shows us our brains are always changing too. Like Odysseus' ship neurons are constantly shifting, making new connections.
So then the question becomes, if we could replace each neuron with like a perfect artificial copy.
Would that still be you?
Big question.
Uh-huh.
And the excerpts lay out the three main philosophical camps on this. First up, you got your materialists. They say it's all about the physical stuff. New parts, new you.
Makes sense. But what about the way the brain works? Like if it functions the same, does it matter what it's made of?
That's the functionalist view. If the processes are identical, then it's still you. Original material or not, doesn't matter as much.
Okay, so materialists are all about the physical stuff. Functionalists focus on how it all works. Then there's this third group.
Psychological continuity. This one gets really interesting. They're all about the essence of you. Your memories, experiences, your personality. If those stay the same, then so do you.
No matter what kind of upgrades you're rocking.
Exactly. Like if you could transfer your consciousness to a new body, would that still be you?
Now that's something to think about. And these excerpts don't just stop at the theory. Oh no. They go way deeper into what it actually means to be able to simulate minds. Like actually do it and all the stuff that comes with that.
And let me tell you, there is some seriously big stuff to consider. The excerpts don't hold back on the potential consequences.
Like what? Give me the rundown.
Well, for starters, the security risk of simulated minds is huge.
Yeah.
We can barely keep hackers out of our inboxes now. Imagine trying to secure an entire world full of simulated consciousnesses.
Yeah, that's a whole other level of cyber warfare.
Exactly. And the excerpts get into some pretty chilling scenarios.
Yeah.
One that really stuck with me was this idea of mind jacking. Like imagine hackers holding these simulated consciousnesses hostage for ransom.
Now that is straight out of a cyberpunk nightmare. But who would even be responsible if that happened? Is that even a crime?
These are the kinds of questions the excerpts force us to ask. And it gets even more complex. We could see something called cascading consequences with artificial superintelligence.
Cascading consequences, what's that?
Well, basically what happens if the AI we create surpasses human intelligence altogether?
Yeah.
Like what if it becomes capable of things we can't even begin to understand, for better or for worse?
Okay, now you're really starting to freak me out here. We're not just talking about a few upgrades anymore. This is like a whole new reality we're creating with a whole new set of rules, or maybe no rules at all.
And that's exactly what makes it so unnerving. This technology has the potential to completely change how we understand reality. The excerpts are a reminder that just because we can develop something doesn't mean we should, or that we're equipped to handle the fallout.
It's like we're opening Pandora's box here. And once it's open, who knows what could happen. And speaking of things we might not be able to control, the excerpts get into some pretty disturbing stuff about privacy when it comes to these simulated minds.
Yeah, for good reason. I mean, think about it. To even create a simulated version of you, these excerpts say we need a crazy amount of data. Like we're talking brainwaves, memories, everything.
Even those super embarrassing childhood moments we've all tried to forget about.
Especially those pages. The excerpts say nothing is really off limits for a truly accurate simulation. And that brings up a huge issue. Who controls all that data? Could it be sold, stolen, used against you somehow? It's kind of terrifying when you really think about it.
Okay, so not only could our digital selves be held hostage in some cybercrime nightmare, but all our deepest, darkest secrets could be out there for anyone to see. I'm starting to feel like ignorance is bliss right about now.
Yeah, it's definitely something to consider. And it gets even creepier. Think about living in a world where someone or something could be watching your every move.
Like a digital Big Brother? Is that what these excerpts are getting at? Because now I'm getting some major Black Mirror vibes.
It's not that far off from what the excerpts describe. They talk about constant monitoring as a real possibility in a world with simulated minds. They even compare it to this thing called a panopticon.
A panopticon? What's that?
It's this prison design where the inmates think they're always being watched, Whether or not someone is actually there doesn't really matter. It's the idea that someone could be watching that keeps them in line.
So even if no one's actually looking over our shoulder in the simulated world, just the thought that they could be is enough to control us, that's pretty messed up.
It really is. And it raises questions about free will in a simulated reality. If someone has access to our thoughts or feelings, can we really say we're in control of our own minds?
Okay, you know what? That is way too much for me to think about right now. Let's switch gears for a minute and talk about something a little less existential, like how this technology could actually play out in society. The excerpts go there, right?
Oh, absolutely. And they don't sugarcoat it either. One of their biggest concerns is that this technology could create an even bigger gap between the haves and the have-nots.
So instead of bringing us together, it could actually drive us further apart.
It's a real possibility. Imagine a world where only the super rich can afford to merge with AI, enhancing their intelligence, maybe even achieving some form of digital immortality, while everyone else is stuck dealing with the limits of our good old-fashioned human brains.
And what about jobs? It seems like automation is already coming for us. If AI can simulate minds, what's stopping it from just replacing us altogether?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the excerpts really dig into this. They argue that we might need to totally rethink work and what it means to have a purpose in a world where AI can do pretty much anything we can do, probably even better.
Okay, so we've got existential dread, privacy nightmares, societal collapse. This is starting to sound less like a deep dive and more like a recipe for disaster. But you said earlier that the excerpts weren't all doom and gloom, right? There's got to be a bright side to all this, too.
Of course. There are definitely two sides to this coin. As many risks as there are with this technology, the potential benefits are just as huge. Imagine a world without suffering, where we could enhance our abilities to learn, create, experience the world in ways we haven't even dreamed of yet.
Now that's what I'm talking about. We could be on the edge of something truly incredible, a whole new understanding of what it means to be human.
Oh.
But with all this possibility, all this risk, where do we even begin?
Well, the excerpts actually address that head on. They say we need to be thinking about this stuff now. Like before it's too late. We got to figure out some ethical guidelines for this tech before things get too far out of hand.
So it's not just about what we can do, but what we should do. These excerpts are starting to sound less like a research paper and more like a warning siren.
Yeah, they're definitely a wake-up call. We can't forget that we're not just talking about ones and zeros here. This is about our thoughts, our feelings, the very essence of what makes us human.
It feels like we're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to a future where this technology helps us become better, stronger, more connected. The other path, well, that one leads to who knows what.
And the excerpts make it clear that we're the ones who decide which path we take. This isn't just some science fiction fantasy. This is happening now. And it's not just up to the scientists and the tech guys to figure it out. This is a conversation that needs to involve everyone. Philosophers, ethicists, artists, you name it.
Because we're talking about the future of humanity here. No big deal. And speaking of mind-blowing possibilities, there's one more thing I wanted to bounce off you. Something from the excerpts that really got me thinking.
Hit me with it.
So we've been talking about simulating minds, right? But what if, and just hear me out here, what if we're already living in a simulation?
The good old simulation hypothesis. Always a classic. Yeah. And more relevant now than ever, I think. With all the advancements in AI and simulation tech, it really makes you wonder.
Right, like if we are in a simulation, who created it? What do they want from us? And does it even matter if we're all just lines of code in some giant supercomputer?
These are questions philosophers have been wrestling with for centuries. But now they're taking on a whole new meaning.
It's enough to make your head spin. But you know what? Part of me finds it kind of freeing. Like all the little things we stress about every day kind of fade away when you think about the bigger picture.
I get that. It definitely puts things in perspective. Maybe instead of searching for concrete answers, we should embrace the mystery, the unknown. Keep asking those big questions about why we're here and what it all means.
Well said. Listener, it seems we've reached the end of our deep dive. And what a trip it's been. We've gone from the depths of the human mind to the outer limits of reality itself, all thanks to those incredible excerpts you shared.
We've talked about the philosophical foundations of personal identity, the ethical challenges of mind simulation, and even the very nature of reality itself. And through it all, the message is clear. The future isn't written yet. It's something we're creating with every choice we make.
So keep asking those tough questions, keep the conversation going, and let's work together to build a future where technology empowers humanity instead of the other way around. Until next time, this is your host, signing off.